Hello, lovely person. Today, I want to tell you the story of how I accidentally took the wrong bus home in kindergarten. So when I was in kindergarten, my dad worked for a photography studio in town. A lot of Saturdays, he would have to take pictures of people's weddings. So instead of Saturday, Sunday, he would have Sunday, Monday off. So on Mondays, I would get to take the bus home because one of my parents was there. Tuesday through Friday, however, I had to take a different bus to a daycare and wait for one of my parents to pick me up. Now, I hated this daycare with a fiery, burning passion. After a long day of school, all I wanted to do was go home and chill. I hated it so much that every day when it got time for me to get in line for that bus, I would start crying, and I would not stop until my parents picked me up. This particular day was right after a holiday weekend, so we had had Monday off. That meant that Tuesday was the first day of the week we had had class. At the end of the day, when class was over, I got into the daycare line and started crying as usual. Now, since that was the first day we had had class that week, my teacher thought it was Monday, and she thought I was supposed to go home because my dad would be there. So she told me to get into the other line to take the bus home. Now, I knew it was Tuesday. I knew I was supposed to be taking the daycare bus, but I thought, well, maybe she knows something I don't know. Maybe my dad has an extra day off that he didn't tell me about for some reason. And I really did not want to go to the daycare. So I was very happy to get into the other line. So I took that bus, I rode it home, and I got off in front of my house. Now, thankfully, the older sister of my friend who lived across the street knew that I was not supposed to be going home that day. So she walked with me to my door to make sure I got home okay. So she and I walked up to my house, and the first thing I noticed was that both the glass door and the solid door were closed, which was unusual. So I tried the doorknob, but it was locked, which was also unusual. So I knocked and rang the doorbell, and no one answered. Obviously, no one was there. So my friend's sister took me next door, and thankfully the girl who sometimes babysat us was home. So she was able to watch me until one of my parents could get there. She let me watch TV and offered me frozen yogurt, which at the time I had never heard of, but I quickly figured out it was basically ice cream, so I happily accepted. The school ended up realizing their mistake and called my mom, so she quickly rushed home and found me at the neighbor's house, perfectly content, eating ice cream and watching TV. Now, I had been perfectly chill throughout this whole thing. I don't know if I would have been had my friend's sister not been there, but she was, and so I wasn't worried. My mom, however, was understandably quite panicked. She wanted to get me home right away, but the only thing I was concerned about, and the only thing I had been concerned about throughout this whole process, was finishing my ice cream. So yeah. That's the story of how I took the wrong bus home to an empty house in kindergarten. If you enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I upload new videos every Sunday. So until then, see you later, lovely person.